Okay, hello. Welcome to my reading vlog. Currently, I'm reading this book. This book is so good. I think I'm in my thriller era. I was in my romance era, and I was reading, what was I reading? There's a book over there. No, I was in my fantasy era, actually. I was reading The Jasmine Throne. It's good, but it's like, with fantasy books, you gotta really get into the world to really understand the society and stuff like that, which it's fine, but I was like, eh. So, my last video, I did a solo date and I went to Target and I bought books. And this is one of the books that I bought. It's called The Housemaid. This author, Frida McFadden, she writes so well. Not the authors, the characters seem very well fleshed out. They seem real. It's not cheesy. And I'm like, I think I like thrillers, I typically don't like scary things. I really like sci-fi. I really like fantasy, and I really like supernatural. And to me, supernatural is kind of scary. I like vampire diaries. I like the original, so I do kind of like Charmed. Like I like kind of like scary things a little bit. Horror, I don't think I'll ever be a horror fan. I can't get into it. But like thriller is like a step into horror, but it's not too, I feel like it's not too much, you know what I'm saying? It reads really well. I like the pacing. I mean, every chapter is like a few pages, right? Literally, I'm in chapter 21 right now, and in like 2 pages it's chapter 22. So I love the pacing, and this book has got me out of reading slump. I've been in a reading slump all summer. Not with this. I'm buying the next book. I think the next book is called The Housemaid is Watching, which I'm like, if there's like a sequel, like a next book, that means the issue's not going to be solved. If the characters are still evolving into another book, that means it's not going to be solved, or something's going to happen, obviously. But I'm like, I'm going to sit here and read this. So yeah.
Something very clear just happened. Like it's almost like solving the case, but there's no way. There's just no way that this is have to be falling into place. But I think that's okay because with the other side of things, something else is developing. It's about like giving you details, but one thing happened that kind of seems like it's solving the case.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you on my computer screen. It's so cute. I collaged this from Pinterest. Love this. I love anything like fruit, take up space. I've been trying to remind myself of this lately because I feel like I don't allow myself to take up space. Fishy, you can. Pearls, this right here says, I love women and fictional men. I love Sam Winchester. I'm a big Supernatural fan. Love Supernatural. This is another this is another picture of Sam Winchester on his computer, and it says girl blogging. Love this right here. Y'all know anything queer, I'm there. Love, again, love fruit. That just says blessed by God, and then shells, and then little Miffy with headphones. Okay, so I am now on chapter 22, and the first page of chapter 22, she's like, oh, I have feelings for my boss's man. Bro, if I were Nina, we would, which is the character that Andrew's married to, right? That's his wife, Nina. If I were Nina, me and her would have to tussle. We would have to tussle. What you mean you're calling her man, like, and she's going through something right now, and that's all I could. I mean, I don't really like Nina in this book. You know what I'm saying? I don't like her character so far because she's switching up a lot. I'm trying to be considerate of the fact that she's dealing with things, but also she is still kind of rude. At the end of the day, yeah, she's going through stuff, but she's still rude, so I'm trying to be considerate of all those different factors. But right now, I'm on Nina's side. I mean, not that there's sides, but I'm like, you're going after her man. That's something we never do. Girl, he's not on the market. He's wiped up. Meaning, don't look his direction. Really needs this job. She really needs this job, and you're trying to risk it by falling for your boss's man? Okay, so we hit a moment in the book where there's like a repeated action that just keeps on occurring. So basically, Nina, which is one of our main characters, she's the one that hired Millie, forgot the main character's name. She's the one that hired Millie to basically be like the maid for their house to clean up like after them. So Nina, throughout several points in the book so far, has told Millie to do something, and then when Millie does it, Nina will then backtrack and be like, well, I never told you to do that. And it's like, we're watching Millie literally being gaslit in real time. I'm pretty sure that's like the definition of being gaslit, right? Let me actually look that up before I say something incorrect. Okay, so the definition says victims of gaslighting are deliberately and systematically fed false information that leads them to question what they know to be true, often about themselves. I mean, I don't know if she's directly gaslighting her, but Nina is for sure altering perception. She's for sure like doubting, making Nina is making Millie doubt what was said. Like, for example, this could be a spoiler, so please skip this part. Millie is cooking food and she pulls out the peanut butter and she's like, do you want peanut butter on your crackers? Tell me why. The little girl's like, I'm deathly allergic to peanut butter. I can't have peanut butter. First of all, if someone in your household is deathly allergic to something, why is it even in your pantry? Is my question. Second of all, Nina, which is Cecilia's mom, which Cecilia is the child, Nina's like, why would you give her peanut butter? She's allergic. I told you that. I'm like, where in the book did you say she was allergic to peanut butter? Why Andrew, which is Nina's husband and Cecilia's stepdad, come home and Millie brings up like, oh, because he was like, oh, I'm gonna eat peanut butter like as a snack. And she's like, well, just don't eat it around Cecilia. And he's like, why? And she's like, because your daughter's allergic to peanut butter. He's like, no, she's not. So it's giving the daughter and the mom are tag teaming bullying Millie for no reason. Then what did I just read? So Nina told Millie to book tickets for a show that Nina really wanted to see. So she did. Millie told Nina this. Millie and Nina discussed this conversation about booking tickets for a show like a week ago. So the current day, that day for the show is coming up. It's in 3 days. Nina's like, didn't I tell you to book it for Sunday? She did. You discussed this with her a week ago. So she's basically telling her to her face, you booked it the wrong day, even though they both agreed. So basically, Nina will tell her information. Millie does it. For example, Nina's having a gathering in her backyard for a PTA meeting for her daughter's school, right? For like a field day they're orchestrating. Back when Nina hired Millie, she was like, oh, you can call me Nina. You don't have to call me Mrs. Winchester. Call me Nina. So at the gathering in the backyard, Millie says, hey, Nina, blah, 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 blah. Nina turns around in front of her friends like, my name's not, don't call me Nina. You call me Miss Winchester. Didn't you just enthusiastically tell her to call you Nina when you first hired her? She's been calling her Nina this whole time. She said no problem. But the minute you're in front of your friends, you chew her out. It's stuff like that. She'll tell her something, and then when Millie does it, Nina retracts. It's like, oh, I didn't say do that. I'm getting ahead of myself. She's like, oh, I didn't tell you to do that, actually. I'm like, yeah, you did. And Andrew just walked in the kitchen is like listening to the whole conversation. I'm like, we all collectively heard you tell her, set it for this date. That's what she did. Now you're chewing her out because she did what you told her to do? Okay, also, y'all, I've been watching like a few of my favorite booktubers or just people that just create content in general, like Kalila. I love her vlogs. I also love Steph, love her videos. And then I've been like really getting into like the TikTok reading sprints. They're like lives that TikTok creators have. I guess they're like book talk creators. And they'll like have a live where some of them play music, some of them don't. And they have like reading sprints, like you read for like 30 minutes and then you take a break for like 6 minutes. I've really been tuning into those and I love them. Like I love book talk now. Like I like the organic book talk. I don't like the book talk that's like pushing out books you need to buy. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to over consume things, right? I just like following the more down to earth book talk, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. So that's all I'm going to say. Hey y'all, I'm about to read for a little bit. I'm actually watching a TikTok live where it's like a reading sprint. My dog just came in my room. Let me close the door. I did not have like the easiest day today. I had a really, I didn't have the easiest day at school. I didn't have the easiest day after school. So I'm in much need of reading. I think I'm halfway. That's giving halfway, right? I'm so excited. So yeah. I'm about to read. Right now I'm about to tune into a book talk creators live, and basically she just has like a timer for 50 minutes to read and then 10 minutes to like chat and do whatever. So I'm about to tune into that. I think this may be like a little bit of a spoiler vlog. Usually in my reading vlogs I like to not include spoilers, but I want to chat. Like if you have read this book or you're reading it, I want to chat about certain things. Like for example, since it's a thriller and it's kind of like a mystery, like who done it, like what's going on type of beat, you know what I'm saying? It's the person you don't expect. It always happens. Every single time you have to figure out who done it, it's always the person you least expect. So far, I'm like, oh, it's Nina. Like, whatever happens, she's in the mix. Yes, she may be in the mix, but I don't think she's going to be the person who ends up, I don't know. Like, I low-key feel like it could be Andrew, the husband. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, hold up. This whole time, I'm like, oh, Nina's suspicious. Nina's mad suspicious. Her daughter, Cecilia's mad suspicious. It could be Enzo, the landscaper. Could be Andrew. I don't know. For sure, I don't think it's Millie, the main character. Like, the maid. I don't think it's her. It's somebody we don't expect. Because Andrew said something. I'm on chapter 31. Andrew said something about Enzo. And I'm like, oh, she got beef with Enzo? Enzo don't do nothing. Enzo comes to work every day and does whatever landscapers do. And now you're looking at Enzo? You're a weirdo. Enzo doesn't do anything. That man comes to work and does his work and he leaves. So, I don't know. But obviously something happened because Enzo's like, girl, you're in danger. So I didn't have the best day, y'all. Like, I'm literally going to a new university and I feel so left behind. I feel like everybody knows what they're doing, even though we just started the semester like 2 days ago. I feel like everybody knows what they're doing and I'm like new to the school. Oh my gosh. And I saw so many people today that went to my high school. I'm like, oh my, I don't like seeing people from my past. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't like my past. I'm gonna be so honest with you. Like, I've grown as a person and I'm still growing. Like, and like seeing people from my past brings back memories of who I was in the past. And I'm like, oh, not very demure, not very cutesy, not very mindful. Like, I don't like when people recognize me. I'm like, bro, you don't know me. You don't know me. Nothing against them. I like leaving my past in the past. Like, why am I seeing you at school? Oh. Y'all, if you're in a reading slump, I would recommend this. It reads really well. It's paced really well. The characters are really well fleshed out. And it's just really good. It's really nice. Okay, I'm on chapter 34 and I'm about to read this like last section. It's like this big because one of the main characters is about to say something, so I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna do like a live reading or whatever. Okay, so Enzo, which is the landscaper, basically is warning Millie again. He's warned Millie 3 different times. Let me put my bookmark in my book so I don't lose my page. This man has warned her 3 different times. If you don't listen to a warning, you're on your own, babe. he told her 3 different times, 2 times with Nina, 1 time with Andrew, because when he was like, oh, you're in great danger the first 2 times, you know, Nina was acting suspicious. Like, Nina was accusing her of things that Nina gave her permission to do things. Then when Millie did them, Nina was like, why'd you do that? I'm like, girl, you just gave her permission to do it. So I was like, okay, it's Nina. Nina's acting weird. Why Enzo is like, you're in great danger with, because at this point of the book, Andrew like is separating. He is married to Nina, but he wants to separate from her because she's just acting out of control and she's just being really cruel and rude. So he like is separating from her. And this is at the point where she literally left last night, like in the rain. He was like, get your bags and go. So she left. And then the next day, this is the like 2nd or 3rd time Andrew is like, why is Enzo in our yard? Like, I think Nina hired Enzo. And this is like the 2nd time Andrew gets mad at Enzo for working in the yard. So clearly Andrew doesn't like Enzo. And Enzo apparently is like, girl, you're in great danger. And the whole time I'm thinking, Enzo is saying you're in great danger because Nina. No. What if he's saying Millie is in great danger because of Andrew? I told you. It's the person you least expect. And Andrew's given perfect. Like Andrew and Millie fell in love. He just separated from his wife. Or he's in the process of separating from Nina. But like Millie and Andrew are falling in love. And now they're kind of together. And I'm like, hold up. Is Andrew the bad guy? I'm giving it's either Enzo or Andrew who's gonna do something bad. I don't know. But Enzo's like warning her. So I feel like it's Andrew. Because this whole time, like, oh, it's Nina. Something's wrong with Nina. No, I feel like it's Andrew. I'm in my car reading right now. Tell me why Millie was like, she sees a car in the darkness parked outside their house. Why is somebody was walking. I don't want them to see me talking. Why is she like, oh, let me just go outside and see who's waiting in the dark. I can't say this word. Horror 101. You do not investigate. That's step 1. You don't investigate. You run away from the danger. You don't run towards it. She's like, is that a car parked outside the gates? I squint into the darkness trying to figure out if I'm just imagining things. I suppose I could go outside and get a closer look. Okay, girl. That bookmark is so cute. Oh my gosh, there's a part 2. Okay, right now I'm watching like a reading sprint on TikTok, and I just got to like part 2. I really hope these people in this building can't see me, but tell me why in chapter 37, it's a very short chapter, I keep mixing the characters up. Millie, the maid, right? Okay, her and Andrew are like in love, and they, spent the night together doing the nasty. But they, were together in the attic. And the attic is the door that locks from the outside, not the inside. So she gets up to use the restroom, and she notices, oh, Andrew went back downstairs to his room. She gets up to use the restroom. She tries to open the door, it's locked. This whole time, in these previous chapters, I thought Nina was the one locking the door. It's Andrew. It has to be Andrew. Because he was in the room with her. Okay, it's only her and him in the house, right? He was in the room with her the majority of the night. Then, at some part of the night, he went back to his room. Why she get up to his bathroom, the door locked? He locked it. And then in part 2, we get Nina's perspective. This whole time, I'm thinking Nina's suspicious, bro, but she's also going through something, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking Nina's the one locking people. It's Andrew, bro. He's the weirdo. If I finish this book before the person that I'm with is done with their appointment, I'm gonna go to Barnes, because Barnes is like down the street, and I'm gonna get another book, like the second one after this. It's Andrew. It's Andrew. It's Andrew. It's Andrew. It has to be Andrew. They're the only two people in the house, right? I don't know if Cecilia is still living there, but the fact that Andrew kicked Nina out and Cecilia is Nina's daughter, pretty sure he kicked Cecilia out too. So, and Cecilia's a kid, you know, she's not gonna have a key to unlock the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially the attic, like, she's not gonna have the attic key. So it's Andrew. I'm about to go back to my TikTok sprint. Okay, y'all, right now I'm still reading The Housemaid. I'm on chapter 55. It's getting good. And literally I posted like a picture of this book on my Instagram, and one of my friends swiped up and she's like, oh my gosh, she read the whole Housemaid series and she also read Never Lie. And for sure, after I finish this book, I want to dive more into Frida McFadden's books, because I really like her so far as an author. I really like how she writes. I like the pacing. I like the dialogue between the characters. I just really like this book. I like the perspectives. And I just really like the work that I'm reading so far from this author. It's getting good, y'all. Okay, I'm on chapter 55. She finally got out of the attic, and Andrew's in the attic now, and she's kind of like reversing the roles, like the things that he did to her, she's doing them back to him. And he's kind of, I don't know if that will change his character. Like, I don't know if that's gonna make him like change as a person and stop like hurting people. I don't know if he's gonna do that, but he's like experiencing a little bit of what she's experiencing, and he's realizing, I think, he does some pretty messed up things to people. And oh my gosh, first of all, she's still in the house. She got out and she's still there. I'm like, girl, run. Why are you still in the house? I want Millie, Nina, and Enzo to team up. Nina, girl, why am I blanking on the names? Yeah, I want them three to team up and figure something out to get away from Andrew. Like, so bad. I'm on chapter 55, and the last chapter is chapter 61. So I'm about to sit here and eat some Pringles, and yeah. There's this one line. So when like he was holding her captive in the attic, she would be like, okay, I did what you asked me to do. Like, he would basically punish her for something. Like, for example, she left his books out on a table and she didn't put them back. So he's like, because you are not remembering to put my stuff back, you need to stay in here. And he told her to balance books on her stomach for 3 hours, yo. The thing is that she balanced the 3 books on her stomach for 3 hours. He came back after about 3 hours and she pushed them off, and she's like, okay, can you let me out now? And he was like, actually, you pushed them off a minute too early, so you're gonna have to do it 3 hours over again. And there's other times where she's like, okay, can you let me out? And he's like, just not yet. So she has him in the attic and she made him balance the 3 books. He's like, can you let me out? And she's like, just not yet. Yeah. The stuff that he did to her, she's doing it right back to him. I'm like, he's messing with the wrong one, child. He don't know what he's dealing with. That's exactly why on the back of the book, it says, but I assure myself, the Winchesters don't know who I really am. They don't know what I'm capable of. Yeah. Like, this girl not playing. So basically Enzo knows the inside scoop. He knows what Nina has like been through. And so they made a plan to like get her away from him. And now she's like away from him. And she basically put Millie in her place. Like which is so wrong on so many levels. Like, Andrew tortured Nina. Nina finally got away and then hired another girl to go in her place. And I'm like, not very considerate, not very cutesy, not very mindful, not very demure. For her to have a lack of compassion for the next woman, she's like, oh, well, I got out, so the next girl that's in there is fine. Girl, he tortured you. He's torturing Millie. Why would you just send her in there like that and she doesn't even know? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lack of compassion that's like, okay, I understand that she's happy that she got out. I get that. But why would you send in another woman to go through the same, like, would the stuff that she went through, wouldn't you want no other person to go through that? Why would you just willingly just be like, oh yeah, she's my replacement? What do you mean she's your replacement? Nina is picking up Cecilia from summer camp and she just got like away from Andy and she's trying to like go to California to really escape him. And Enzo calls her, and at the end of their call, he's like, I can't believe you would let her suffer the way you suffered. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, you got free, but there's another girl in there that's suffering. Why would you want her to suffer with you? I mean, why would you want her to suffer? After Millie gets out of the attic, and she puts Andrew in there, right? While she's sleeping in the house, girl, she got out of the attic, and she's like, let me sleep in the same house that he's in. Next chapter, chapter 57, she says, when I wake up in the guest room the next morning, the first thing I do is search for Andrew's phone. I bring up the app for the camera in the attic. Right away, the room jumps into focus. I stare at the screen and my blood runs cold. The room is deathly still. Andrew isn't in there anymore. What do you mean? Girl, he got out. He got out. He got out. Why would you... And I get it, like, she doesn't have anywhere else to go, but you have your car. You get vroom to a safe new place. The fact that she was like, oh, he's in there. He's not going to get out. Girl, he designed the room. Like, he knows the wiring of that room. Why would you trust that he would not find a way to get out? He built the room. So I'm like, why would she... And I'm not trying to blame her. I'm not. But I just can't help but think, girl, if you finally got out, why are you sleeping in the same house? Vroom somewhere. I'm on the very last chapter. Chapter 61. In the previous chapter, chapter 59, I'm amazed at how every chapter my mind is blown. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just love that we're almost at the end of the book. We are essentially at the end of the book. And I'm still being like surprised. My attention span has held through this whole book. It's so good, bro. It's so good. Like the dual perspectives. It's interesting that the author never gave Andrew perspective in the book. This book dabbles between Nina and Millie's perspective, which Millie is the housemaid and Nina is the wife that is, married to Andrew or was married because they're getting separated and divorced and stuff. But yeah, I like the duality of the perspectives, but it's very interesting that the author did not give Andrew a perspective. It would have been interesting to see his perspective. Not saying that would alleviate what he's done to people. Like, he's still a bad person and he does bad things. But it would have been interesting to see. Like, I would really be interested in seeing, like, his background and, like, the relationship between him and his mom and how that formed him into the adult that he is in the book, like, in present time. Like, how did he become this way, right? I feel like that'd be super interesting because even seeing the dynamic between him and his mom, it's very telling that his relationship with his mom kind of formed how he grew as an adult and how it formed his perspective. So that would have been interesting to see, like, his thought process and things like that. Not saying it validates anything he did. Not saying that. Just saying it would be interesting to see his perspective. I'm going to come back to y'all when I'm on the last pages. And I'm about to read the epilogue. But basically, we just found out that he's that way because of his family. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say who, like which member of his family, but he's that way because of his family. He did something, they punished him. And that's why he does that to other people, but he takes it in a more extreme way. Oh my gosh. Who says that? Who says that? gosh, I never thought that I would like be feeling like bad for Andy because he's such a terrible person. But it's such a shame that he grew up the way he grew up and then he turned into such a terrible person. Like, it was his environment. I'm not validating anything he did at all. But I'm just saying, it's so crazy how he was a product of his environment, if that's even the right way to phrase it. Like, based on his environment and the way that he grew up, that shaped him. That shaped him into how he treated other people. It's just a cycle. He continued the cycle. He went through something in his childhood, and then he continued the cycle and made it worse. That's crazy, y'all. Okay, now I'm about to read the epilogue, and it's Millie's perspective. Oh my gosh, this is how... I was wondering how the author is going to branch off into another book, because the next book is called The Housemaid's Secret. And I'm like, how is the author going to continue this story? This is how. In the epilogue, it explains how. This is crazy. It's taking everything in me to not read the next page. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh my gosh, I'm getting the next book. My friend, after I shared on Instagram that I was reading this, my friend texted me, she DM'd me, and she was like, she read the whole series, but she read it out of order because she didn't know there was an order, and she said that the second book is boring, but I'm still gonna read it because you know how people have different opinions, so it may be boring for her, but it may be interesting to me. I at least want to try it out. But the way they ended the book, I'm like, that's her new job now. This book was so good. This book was so good. Oh my gosh. 4 stars. I don't want to give it a 5 stars. I could give it a 4.5. It's really good. This book was really good, y'all. That was The Housemaid.